Welcome back into the first show of the brand new year. Happy 2023 to everyone, and welcome into Prime Sports World. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast on all of our platforms. That includes Facebook, that includes YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. So continue checking us out. Also, if you want to join us in the conversation, I have shared the StreamYard link into all of the places, so please check that out. If you want to join us, talk a little NFL action. Of course, your host, David On Point. Right there is my co-host, Mr. TJ Hopkins. Welcome into the show, TJ. Happy 2023, my friend. Happy New Year. Hopefully you had a good – hopefully 2023 is treating you well so far.
Yeah, I saw Big Blue People #2 today.
I'm going in a couple weeks.
For those that don't know, that's Avatar #2. Yeah, it's definitely going to be, nominated for a couple visual Oscars. Aesthetically, it was beautiful. Like some of the shots.
I mean, the first one was beautiful too.
Yeah. Some of the shots, some of the scenes, it was just beautiful. So
did you see it in 3D?
No,
I don't know if they have it. I don't know if they have it in 3D. To be honest with you, actually.
Yeah, they do. They do. Yeah, they have it in 3D. I could have saw it in 3D. I'm like, nah, I just want to see the movie. So I went and saw it. This is my first time in the theater since what was the last movie I saw before this? I think Black Panther 2 was
not even that long ago.
No, I went in whenever a week or so after that came out. I didn't go to the movies at all in December. So it's like a month in between me going to movies is quite a while for me.
I usually go years without seeing a movie, but I did go see Glass Onions maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago. That was a very entertaining ride, Glass Onions. I am going to go see Avatar with my dad and my sister here in the next couple weeks, so I'm looking forward to that. But let's talk about NFL. Let's talk about the 2022-23 NFL season as we're at week number 17, and for week number 17, it represented the beginning and the end for some of the teams in the National Football League. For some, their playoff hopes just started with the clinching a playoff spot last week. For some, they were officially eliminated from the playoff contention yesterday with losses or by performances by other teams. That includes the Jets, Commanders, the Raiders. I think that's it. They got eliminated just yesterday.
Jets, Raiders.
Yeah, I said the Jets. Commanders.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. And then it's Carolina, obviously, but we'll get to them here in a minute.
Right.
We had a couple teams clinch a spot, the New York Giants and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So we're getting close to that time where we're talking about playoff football. Let's talk about, first of all, Thursday Night Football as we hit the Dallas Cowboys rolling into Nissan Stadium and thumping the Tennessee Titans 27-13. Dak Prescott, 29-41. 282, 2 touchdowns and 2 picks, wildly inefficient in the first half of this game, as if they trailed it, or they didn't trail, but it would look sloppy. There was 10-6 by the end of the first quarter there, or the first half. Malik Davis was the leading rusher for the Dallas Cowboys, as Tony Pollard did not play in this game. 10 for 39. Zeke had the rushing touchdown. Bobby Schultz is cutting. Dalton Schultz had 2 receiving touchdowns in this game. And then on the other side, Joshua Dobbs making his first NFL start, I do believe, as he spent a bunch of his career being a backup to Ben Roethlisberger there in Pittsburgh. 20 of 39, 232, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Hassan Haskins, as Derrick Henry did not play, as they chose to rest a lot of their starters for their big matchup next week against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Robert Woods had the lone touchdown for the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, Josh Dobbs getting the start to the surprise of
everyone.
Probably everyone. It's kind of like it went about how you thought it would go. Obviously, the bigger story in this game is Dak struggles. He has a tendency to, when he throws a pick, usually if he throws multiple picks, it's usually to the same guy. Think about it, Kevin Byard got him twice. I think when he played the Bears, I think Eddie Jackson got him twice. It's weird. How do you throw multiple picks to the same guy? How does that happen? And Josh Dobbs, well, first off, congratulations. You've spent 6 years as a backup, and you threw your first touchdown pass Thursday. Yep. So congratulations.
Can't take nothing from him. You did it.
Can't take nothing from him. That's how you stay the course, because we're not finna act like Josh Dobbs doesn't have the backup plans of all backup plans. If his NFL career doesn't work out, the guy could go work for NASA today if he wanted to.
He's a straight A student when he was at the University of Tennessee.
4.0, like he had above a 4.0 GPA. What was his major? Aeronautic engineering.
It's basically rocket science.
Rocket science. Yeah, he was basically a rocket scientist, right?
Or could be if he wanted to be.
If he wanted to be like, so like, let's not act like dude don't have the backup plan of all backup plans if this thing don't work out for him. But it also goes to show me that they felt more comfortable throwing Josh Dobbs in there, who's only been there for like 2 weeks, over Malik Willis, who's been there the whole season.
I also think that there's that factor in there that I think, like the Tennessee Titans knew no matter what they did in this game, it was irrelevant for how their season's going to wrap up. So I going up against the Dallas Cowboy defense, where they have the best pass rush in the NFL against an offensive line that's been kind of not good at all this season. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna put Malik Willis out there. I'm gonna sign a guy, let him be in the roster for a couple weeks, and throw him into the starting lineup.
But at the same time,
because the only game that matters to the Tennessee Titans. That game had no bearing on their playoff lives at all. Like,
but at the same time, I'm not trying to put myself in that situation where I need a win and I'm in.
I mean, that was going to be the scenario no matter what, though.
But I get that. But if you beat if you beat the Cowboys, say Jacksonville loses,
it does not change the scenario.
Even if Jacksonville was to lose?
Correct.
Wow. So if Tennessee was to beat Dallas and Jacksonville lost that game, that meant nothing.
Nothing. And then Jackson, because I was confused about it too, and then I did a playoff predictor on ESPN.com.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, so Jacksonville could have lost to the Texans on Sunday, and the Titans could have won. It would have no bearing on their playoff lives. Like, it still would have came down to that game Sunday.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Well, because I think Jacksonville holds the tiebreaker. Okay.
They do currently.
Right. But it went about as how you thought it was. Like, Tennessee hung in for as long as they could, and then Dallas nipped all that stuff in the bud, and Dak stopped turning the ball over, and it went how you thought it would.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, this is a game that Dallas is supposed to win. Their defense looked good in this game again, and so continue doing what you do well. If you're the Dallas Cowboys, I think it'll be interesting to see what they have, because now Dallas has an opportunity. If the Eagles lose another game, they have an opportunity to win the division now.
Yeah.
So, and we'll talk about that more tomorrow. As we swing in from Thursday, let's talk about Sunday. First game on the docket here is the Arizona Cardinals, Battle of the Birds, going into Atlanta, taking on the Falcons. And the Atlanta Falcons pull out the slight victory with a game-winning field goal. 2019. They moved to 6-10. Arizona falls to 4-12. David Blau, the former Detroit Lion, if you remember him, he actually got the start in this game. 24-41 touchdown. James Conner, 16-79, no touchdowns. Trey McBride had himself a game here. First NFL touchdown for Trey McBride, as he's had a pretty solid rookie season out of Colorado State. And then on the other side, Desmond Ridder, another up-and-down performance, but at least he was mostly efficient in this game. 16-26, 169, no touchdowns, no picks. Cordell Patterson, Tyler Algier both had rushing touchdowns, and Mikhail Pruitt, the backup tight end to his name is totally escaping me, but that's the backup tight end. 4 catches for 49. Yes, thank you very much. He's been injured all season, so I kind of forgot his name.
Yeah. Okay. Obviously, I think the bigger story here for the Cardinals is the Cliff Kingsbury cloud. Like, what do you do with that? I understand you don't have Kyler. He's hurt. He's going to be hurt. Like, he's hurt right now, and he's going to be hurt for majority of next season, depending on how rehab
goes. I mean, if he's Adrian Peterson, he's back. I think Adrian Peterson is unrealistic. Adrian Peterson is unrealistic.
I feel so sorry for anybody that ever tears an ACL in the NFL ever again, because
or tears their Achilles ever again after Cam Akers is back in 6 months.
So because now it's like, well, this guy did it in this time length. Why can't you? Yeah. That's just no, that's not how that works. Obviously, if you're the Cardinals, you're obviously asking, is Cliff Kingsbury the guy to get us over this hump, because it was right, the division was right there for the taking, kinda, right? Like you got the Rams. Rams have been terrible, right? Rams terrible.
I don't know about that, man. San Francisco's pretty good.
San Francisco's pretty good, but like no one knew what to expect out of Trey Lance. Like, and
That's
then
true. I mean, you're talking about when the season started.
When the season started, yeah.
Gotcha.
So, like no one thought was what was going to happen with Trey Lance, and then everybody like Jimmy G's on a timetable too, because one of the two things is going to happen. They're going to he's either going to get hurt again, which is exactly what happened, and then everything's going to fall apart. But what's his name? Brock Purdy has come in and be like, no, I can do this. Also, the other guys on the 49ers have also been healthy. Like none of those guys have missed significant time like
for the
they
most
have.
part, I mean, George Kittle missed some time at the beginning of the season, but for the most part, yeah, this has been a pretty healthy football team this season.
No one thought Seattle would do what they're doing.
Deebo Samuel, obviously.
Like no one thought Seattle would do what they're doing. So like, if you're Arizona, you're thinking like this: I got my healthy quarterback. I know DeAndre Hopkins is gonna miss at least the first month and a half, so I can prepare myself for that. And no, you're 4-12. You're a game better than the Chicago Bears, who we'll get to in a second.
Yep. For this game, for the Atlanta Falcons, good win. I mean, you just got to continue. Desmond Ridder played okay in this game. He was at least efficient, no picks.
Just build on something, right? Just keep playing to build on. I like Tyler Algier. Like I do think they got their running back of the future. That's a nice punch with him and
I like the other guy, Caleb Williams. I think is the other guy's name. The kid from
Avery
Williams. Yeah.
He had a good game.
He did not have a good game. I don't know.
He had a good game
but he was solid at the beginning of the season. Also, welcome to the CEO. Mr. Israel Rivera, welcome to the show. Let's talk about the next game. Chicago Bears going to Detroit, getting beat down 41-10 as they could not stop the run, save their lives in this game. Justin Fields, the numbers are not good in this game for him particularly, at least through the air. 7 of 21, 75 yards, a touchdown and a pick. He had 130 yards rushing. You got a lot of background noise, man. Can you mute that? Justin Fields, 10 of 130, 10 carries for 132 yards. Cole Kmet had the lone receiving touchdown for the Chicago Bears. He's had a really nice season for a guy who was a first-round pick at one point, really bounced back, or a second-round pick, I think he was actually. And then on the Detroit side of this, Jared Goff, really efficient, 21 of 29, 255 and 3 touchdowns. Jamal Williams, DeAndre Swift all had ones on the ground, and DeAndre Swift and Brock Wright had the receiving touchdowns for the Detroit Lions as they basically beat the Bears from sideline to sideline, goalpost to goalpost, from kickoff to kick to kneel.
Yeah.
Sorry, I muted you. You have a bunch of noise, man. Go ahead. I muted you.
I muted myself. I don't know. TJ, are you back on? TJ's off. TJ was off. Anyways, yeah, who cares about this game? The Lions creamed the Bears. Justin Fields had one good run. And the Lions took care of business. They beat the less superior team than what they were supposed to do. They're supposed to win that game, go into the next game against the Green Bay Packers, basically control their destiny. They win that next game.
Not really.
Well, I mean, they win. They got to do what they got to do, and they need Seattle to lose. Which
that's not controlling your own destiny. It's the opposite.
Well, of that. I mean, they control their own destiny if they win. If they win, yeah, you're right. To a sense, you're right.
I mean, but if Seattle, because now that game's been flexed to prime time. If Seattle wins, that game is completely meaningless for the Lions.
Right. But it's meaningful for my Packers, though. But anyways,
we'll talk about that game tomorrow.
He said we'll talk about that game tomorrow. But yeah, no, they did what they're supposed to do. I mean, if they lose the game against the Bears, I mean, we're not talking about them, potentially getting into the playoffs. So, this is what they're supposed to do. 41-10. I mean, the Bears' offensive line. I mean, I said it. I mean, they let 265 yards on the ground, and TJ was telling me, man, it's all rookies and backups. And I get that, TJ, but at the same time, damn, God, play with some damn heart. Play with some heart. 265 yards on the ground. That's what college teams do, So that's all I got to say about it. But the Bears, like I said, going into next season, got a high draft pick, got a lot of money to spend. So, and I'm just looking forward to what they can do to build this team because they got a lot of holes on their team, especially starting with offensive line. Justin Fields, I mean, and down to the wide receivers, I mean, everything. They need to rebuild. They need to build everywhere.
True.
No, it's what you call it? Like all this game did was allow the Twitter, Facebook, and couch GMs and coaches to be like, trade Justin Fields, fire everybody. I'm like, this is why y'all don't. This is why you're a menial job worker and not an NFL GM. That's exactly why, right? Like, it's folks on Twitter talking about some like they need to trade back and get CJ Stroud. We already know Ryan Poles ain't draft Justin Fields. He needs to go get his guy. Do y'all understand how stupid y'all sound? Like, your ignorance is really shown. One dude on Facebook even said, and I shared it to the group, Justin Fields ain't an NFL quarterback. So if Justin Fields isn't an NFL quarterback, what is Lamar Jackson? Because the stuff that's saying about Justin Fields has been said about Lamar Jackson for years, and Lamar's won an MVP.
It's true. I do think that he needs to get more efficient through the air, but I think that'll come with that, and that'll come, and that will come. That will come with reps and offensive line improvement and weapons on the outside.
He's got some amazing throws. I'm sorry, Penn State just did some crazy stuff, but he's got some amazing arm angles. The way he throws the football, he's got some moments, right, TJ, to where he puts it on a dime. I mean, he's got moments, man. He's like you said, David. He needs the reps. He needs the experience. He needs a better offensive line. And also, I will say this: just like Jalen Hurts did in the offseason, he needs to go see that quarterback guru. I forget his name.
I mean, also, funny how when you trade, give him some a top flight wide receiver. Look at you trade for AJ Brown there in Philly. I mean, Josh Allen made his big jump in year 3 after he got Stephon Diggs. I mean, Tua. We were talking about Tua as a potential MVP candidate earlier this season. What was the difference? They traded for Tyreek Hill.
What's rumors? Where are the rumors out there now, you guys?
That Devontae Adams. Zero chance that happens. What's up, David Henderson? Long time no see, man. Hope you're doing well.
Derek Carr goes somewhere else. I could see that happening, though. I could see Devontae Adams wanting out.
But check it out.
Okay, just because you want out doesn't mean you get traded immediately.
Exactly. But check it out. What I don't like is so the pick that Justin Fields threw, like with Detroit rushed nobody, and they like they're
Aiden Hutchinson.
Right, they're trying to make a meme out of that. They're like, oh, the Lions rushed nobody. Fields still threw a pick. I'm like,
they did rush. They rushed 3.
I'm like, nobody rushes on a Hail Mary yet. Picks are thrown all the time.
He rushed 3.
No one says, oh, he's like, this team rushed nobody and a pick was still thrown. Like, in that situation, it was kind of like that. It was the end of the half. It was the end. It was literally the end of the half. So like,
we'll see what the offseason holds for Chicago.
All this game did was allow the couch, Twitter, and like other social media GMs to be like, Justin Fields ain't this, he ain't that. That's literally all it did.
Moving on, let's swing into the AFC. We got the Denver Broncos going into Kansas City and getting beat 27-24. At least they put up some fight here in this game. Russell Wilson, this may have been his best game of the season so far. 26-38, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. He also put in 2 on the ground. And Albert O caught the lone receiving touchdown for the Denver Broncos. On the Kansas City side of this, Patrick Mahomes is another day at the office, 29-42, 3 touchdowns and a pick. Isaiah Pacheco, who's quietly had a really nice rookie season here, 9 carries, 31 yards and a touchdown. Jerick McKinnon and Blake Bell had receiving touchdowns for the Kansas City Chiefs. Jerick McKinnon set some record. I do not know what it is. I saw it briefly when I was doing some research. 5th receiving touchdown in 5 consecutive games. I guess he's the first Chief to ever do that.
That is a record. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Makes history. 5th receiving touchdown in 5 consecutive games. Let me say something. At the end of the game, if you guys are going to call roughing the passer on plays like that for other quarterbacks, I don't understand why you don't call it on that one for Russell Wilson, because Mr. Clark there banged him to the ground with a body slam.
I thought it was Chris Jones.
Or was it Chris Jones? It was Chris Jones, not Clark. Chris Jones. Banged him to the ground there, like a body slammed him there. And that should have been, a roughing the passer penalty right there. and could have kind of extended the drive for Denver to maybe that would have moved them possibly into some field goal range. Possibly, I think that happened at what the 40-yard line on their 40-yard line. Not Kansas City's, but Denver's. So, but yeah, this game, I mean, the Chiefs did what they're supposed to do. I did not expect the Broncos to score 24 points
I
on the
don't think
Chiefs.
anybody expected Denver to score 24 points.
but this just shows you that the Chiefs defense just, God, man, when it goes against like elite offenses, I get a little scared. Cincinnati Bengals, even the Buffalo Bills, I'm gonna get a little scared in them. Trying to make stops.
To that penalty that wasn't called, Izzy, that's the issue I think folks have with officiating. It's like it shouldn't be like.
Man, I'll be honest with you. I think that I've seen that called roughing passer a lot this season.
A lot. That's that's what I was getting at. I'm like, it shouldn't be left up to the official, like, to determine. Like the rule is the rule. If the rule says that is roughing, then you as an officiating crew shouldn't be like, that's not roughing to me. Like, no, the rule is the rule.
Because of their record.
This is what I'd like to see happen with the rule next season. I would like for a flag, if it's questionable, a flag can be thrown and then it can be looked at by the powers that be, and they decide if it's considered roughing the passer or not. That way, you have more than just one person's opinion creating a flag.
But the problem we have with that, David, is we gonna run into it like what the PI rule was, right?
No, but this is totally different because in PI they would have to actually had to challenge that play. Like head coaches would have to. I'm not talking about challenge. I'm talking about it'll be automatically initiated as soon as the flag is thrown. It'd be just like the targeting play. I know that has problems in college football too.
We've seen less happen in a roughing the passer penalty be called.
We have, and
that's crazy.
What I'm getting at is like the premise behind it, like whether it's a challenge or an automatic review. The NFL does not want to throw their referees under the bus. Calling out, like saying you missed this and you missed that on national TV is their way of saying you're not good enough, like you're not good at your job.
The NBA does it all the time though with their officials though.
They do
after the fact, like that's the point. Like that's what
I just think that there is going to be some serious conversation at the when
there is. So like this is what's going to happen. This is it's going to have to take it happening in the big time game. Like we saw the PI call that robbed New Orleans of going to a Super Bowl.
That rule lasted 1 year, and they figured
it shouldn't have. Like the issue with that is like. Same thing. The NFL was not going to throw their officials under the bus. Like they were not going to do that. It just wasn't going to happen.
And after this game, we also get the Harbaugh rumors. Possibly him reaching out for him to did Denver. So whatever.
They did it last year, and he came out pretty fast, nipped it in the bud. Like, yo, I'm not going anywhere.
We'll see. We'll see
what happens.
We'll talk about Denver here in a couple weeks as we move into the offseason for them. To another team, we got the Miami Dolphins and the New England Patriots. I believe both these teams are still in the hunt for that last wild card spot in the AFC. But Miami coming up short, 21-23 against the New England Patriots. As New England tried to give this game away towards the end, they were up big and they just kind of I'm not even sure
what they were doing there.
Teddy Bridgewater, 12 of 19, 161, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. He got injured in this game, and Skylar Thompson came in. About the same results, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Tyreek Hill and Raheem Mostert scored touchdowns for the Miami Dolphins, at least on the offensive side, and Mike Gesicki. I like Gesicki sighting. How about that? And then Mac Jones on the other side, 20 of 33, 2 touchdowns. He threw 1 to Taquan Thornton, who's had a solid down the stretch rookie season, and Jacoby Myers, who's bounced back nicely off of that blunder that was that Raider game a couple weeks ago. He's got back-to-back touchdowns in back-to-back weeks for Jacoby Myers.
I kind of, first of all, that I texted the group. I was like, what the hell is Bill doing? I know that ain't coming from his 2 co-offensive coordinators. Why are you going for it on 4th down there? With 3 minutes left. Well, what are you doing?
I'm going to be honest with you, bro. You sent that to the group. I didn't know what the hell you was talking about. I'm just being real. I'm like,
Did you see you know what I'm talking about, right, David?
Yeah, I got the red zone. So
Yeah, he went for it on fourth down. TJ, it was like 3 minutes left. He goes for it on fourth down instead of punting it, and almost he gave it away at like midfield, like close to midfield, right?
yeah,
Was it David?
228. It was like they were at the Dolphin 39. So like,
well, I saw well, it's not even interesting, and it really shouldn't surprise anyone. A graphic was put up. I forgot. I think it was on Cowherd's show. It was Cowherd's show. They put up Bill's record with literally every quarterback not named Tom Brady. Belichick's basically a 500 quarterback. Like
500 coach.
Yeah, 500 coach. Like that's what he is, bro. Like he's a 500 head coach.
I think this year we've seen Bill be more aggressive than he's ever been before. Can you guys agree with that? I mean, he's done a lot. He's made a lot of aggressive moves, and I think he's had to, right? Because he knows that this team isn't as talented offensively, so he knows he has to kind of get as many advantages as he can. As they're driving the ball or in late game situations, because he knows he's got a stud defense. He got to
steal opportunities. He got to steal
opportunities, right? And he's been way more aggressive this year than ever before. But
both these teams are still alive for the wild card, so I think
I think Miami's done.
I think so too. It looks like Skylar Thompson. They did rumor that somebody reached out. A veteran quarterback has reached out to Miami about playing next week. I don't know who it is, but that's just one of the rumors. And
I hope it's Cam Newton, baby.
I would be interesting if it was like Colin Kaepernick.
It was They had a film session. And Tua couldn't even. It was like the week.
Right.
Yeah.
Was it the
Packers? It was the Packers.
It was week after the Packers game.
He didn't even like Mike McDaniels is talking about plays and whatnot, and Tua's like, I don't even remember that play.
Yeah.
Like if it's coming to that for you, man, you might have to. Yeah.
No, I said that yesterday. I said, man, look, I love the game of football. If I'm Tua, I love the game of football. But as much as I love the game of football, I love my health as much more. Exactly. And if I was him, I'm not saying if I am him. I'm saying if I was him, if this was me, I'd be like, it's over with. I can't remember something. I can't do this. I gotta have my scruples.
Moving on from this game, let's talk about the team that clinched the playoff spot, the New York Football Giants. Congratulations, Mr. Christian Simpson. 38-10 as they beat down the Indianapolis Colts. They knocked Nick Foles out of this game after he threw a pick. Sam Ellinger came in and threw a touchdown. Michael Pittman Jr. caught the lone receiving touchdown for the Indianapolis Colts. On the New York Giants side of this, Daniel Jones, pretty solid game here, 19-24, 177, 2 touchdowns. He also had put in 2 on the ground. Richie James and Isaiah Hodgins had the receiving touchdowns.
Richie James had
the New York Giants. Yeah, he did. 7 catches for 76 yards and a touchdown.
And a beautiful flip to.
That was Ricky James. Yeah, that was.
Look. TJ said this after the game. The Giants aren't going to move on from Daniel Jones, and he does this every year. He's
earned the opportunity to be the starting quarterback of the Giants one more season after this.
He has.
Oh, okay, guys. But is he the long-term answer?
I don't know. I mean, he's had one season under Brian Daboll.
Give him another season with the same system.
Yeah, he's put a decent offensive line. I mean, and as much as we like a Ricky James and Isaiah Hodgins, those aren't like legit wide receivers. Get him some real weapons on the outside,
like which they should do in this year's draft. Like they talk about extending him and Saquon Barkley, bro. Like they
should do that.
No, I've seen the eye test already. Daniel Jones in bigger games. They're playing the Colts, man. They put 24 up in the second. Cool. They're playing the Colts. They beat the Colts. They destroyed the Colts. But at the same time, the second half of the season, how has he looked?
Doesn't matter. Circumstances was a win.
It's been inconsistent.
And that's the reason why they need to move on from Daniel Jones, because he's been wildly inconsistent his whole tenure in New York. And I understand they made it to the playoffs, but that was because Saquon Barkley was the first half of the year MVP, and everybody knows that. And this team was predicated on what Saquon was doing.
We will talk more about the Giants when we talk about their offseason whenever their season ends, because that's a conversation. Because it's very easy to say you're just going to move on from Daniel Jones. Move on how? Like
what?
Man,
to who and to what? And it's not as easy to just move on from a quarterback. You have no plans whatsoever to
get you Derek Carr. Get you a quarterback that can
you're gonna trade draft cap. You're gonna trade draft cap.
300 yards.
This is not a team that's like. Come on, moving on. Let's just move on. New Orleans Saints moving into the Saints in the city of brotherly love, and Gardner Minshew as they come out with a double up on the Eagles, 20-10. Andy Dalton, 18-22, one pick. Taysom Hill had the lone rushing touchdown for the New Orleans Saints. I don't know how they scored all their points, but the Gardner Minshew, one touchdown, one pick. Miles Sanders, 12-61. AJ Brown had a really long touchdown for 78 yards, and that's the only scoring the Eagles did for the whole game. Gardner Minshew also lost 2 fumbles in this game. As he turned it over 3 times by himself. This is what happens when your backup quarterback's playing.
We know one thing. Whoever said throw any quarterback in the Eagle system and they'll win. They can kill that. We didn't had 2 games of Gardner Minshew in this system. He's 0-2. I understand.
He was much better in his first game. He was much better in his first game. He was brutal in this game.
He was much better in his first game. Then all of a sudden, a little bit more tape got out on him,
Yep.
And it's like, okay.
And this is a good Saints defense.
Yeah, I don't got nothing to say about this game, man. The Saints need to take care of business. The Eagles defense, I'm a little disappointed with the Eagles defense here.
They allowed 20 points.
They allowed 20 points. 20 points, that's cool. But I would like to see them
you only give up 20 points on you should win. You should win that game, especially when your offense turns it over 3 times.
I would like to see him shut them down, though. That's what I would like to see Philly's defense do. And also, it seems like this defense is like, I understand.
They only gave up 1 touchdown the entire game.
So I would still like to see them give up only field goals and no touchdowns.
Seriously, they had to work for that 20 points, bro.
I mean, they only gave up 300 yards of total offense in this game.
Yeah, no, but anyways, no, I actually kind of knew that. I kind of figured I knew that the Saints would kind of win this game. They need to win this game to kind of try to stay alive in the NFC South, even though they're not. They're done. They've been done. Yeah, they're done. Yeah.
So moving on to the team that actually did win the NFC South.
Before the game, they needed to win to keep up with the Bucs.
They got eliminated last week.
Yeah. Did they? Did?
Yeah.
I thought they were still alive for some reason.
Nope.
No.
That's so interesting.
Moving on from this game, let's talk about the team moving on to the team that actually won the NFC South, as nobody seemed to want to win the NFC South until somebody did. Tampa Bay welcomes in the Carolina Panthers. They win that game 30-24. And of course, Tom Brady drives him down the field for the game-winning touchdown, as Tom Brady does in most of these scenarios. Sam Darnold had a good game, though, 23 of 37, 3 touchdowns and a pick. It would have been interesting, as TJ likes to talk about all the time, if he had been healthy from the start, what they could have been like. DJ Moore, Shi Smith, Tommy Tremble all had touchdowns on the air. Devontae Foreman didn't have 200 yards rushing in this game, 13 of 35. Tom Brady, 34 45, 3 touchdowns, all to Mike Evans, as he had a hat trick of touchdowns. Tom Brady also put one on the ground.
I'm just saying right now, he gets my game ball of the week, bro. 6 catches, 200 yards. 3 touchdowns.
Yeah. I like how Mike Evans waits until my fantasy season's over to show up.
Because Mike Evans doesn't care about your fantasy season.
Yes, he does.
Real talk, the play of this game wasn't even a pass or anything. It was that punt that rookie punter did to basically save the day.
Bro, I was right. Bro, y'all be wrong, bro. They were eliminated when Green Bay beat Minnesota, bro. Y'all be tweaking, bro.
Really?
The Saints were eliminated when Green Bay beat Minnesota. My bad. Go. We move forward to the Bucs.
How does the Saints?
What does
it have to? Yeah, they were eliminated from the NFC South contention.
That's exactly what I was That's what I was talking about that's what I was talking about in the last game.
They were already eliminated from winning the NFC South.
No, they were eliminated when Green Bay beat Minnesota.
How does Green Bay beating Minnesota have anything to do with the NFC South?
Right.
No, that's what it says. It says no. What is it? Well, here I just saw it right here. Just saw it. Anyways, keep going, guys. Go ahead. I'll put it in the group chat.
Okay. All right. But yeah, Carolina tried to resort to the running game here. They basically
playoff contention. My bad.
But yeah, I mean, this is what happens. Tampa Bay was always the better team. They were always going to win the division. It was just only a matter of time before they decided to actually want to win the division.
The 19th division crown for Tom Brady. He's won 19 divisions.
He's only missed the playoffs one season when he was fully healthy. One.
Like, bro.
Yeah.
Playoff
contention. Yeah, they were eliminated when Green Bay from playoff contention when Green Bay beat Minnesota.
Okay, we're not talking about playoff. We're talking about winning the division. We're not talking about playoff contention as a whole.
Anyways, not that it even matters. Carolina has a nice story. They came on strong down the end. As TJ likes to bring up, if they had Sam Darnold from the jump, maybe we're talking about a different scenario here for Carolina this season.
All right, so I think the real question is hey, if you're Carolina, do you remove the interim tag from Steve Wilkes?
I don't know. I think you take. I think you see who's available because, as much as we like to talk about, what Carolina did, they're still 6-10 football team who played better down the stretch, but not that much better. I wouldn't be so quick to just pull the trigger on making him the interim. I would see who else is out there.
Great game by Tom. This is best game of the season. That's all I got to say. They did what 100%. They had to do. Win the NFC South. That's it.
Moving on to between Cleveland and the Washington Commanders, 24-10, as they basically end Washington's season here. And Carson Wentz did not help them with that. He threw 3 picks in this game. Brian Robinson, nice rookie season, nice story there with him coming back from getting shot earlier in the season. 24 of 87. Logan Thomas, good showing for him, 6 of 56. Deshaun Watson had his best game of the season by far. 9 of 18, 169 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Nick Chubb over 100 yards in this game as well. Mari Cooper, 2 touchdowns. And Donovan Peoples-Jones, 1 touchdown in this game. He had a really nice season. Bounced back from what was a so-so season the season before.
For what it's worth. Yeah. Now everybody wants to, crap on Washington for going back to Carson Wentz, and when Taylor Heineke was playing, let's be honest, Taylor Heineke was playing so ball when he had to start.
They were not winning games because of Taylor Heineke. They were not winning games. They were winning games despite him.
So I just want to know what would they say if Taylor Heineke went out there and threw the 3 picks, versus Carson Wentz doing it. I just want to know what the narrative would have been then versus what it is now, because all it does now is just, see, I told y'all they shouldn't have played Carson Wentz. They should have stuck with Heineke, blah. Well, first off, if Taylor Heineke was that guy, as David liked to point out and Izzy liked to point out, if Heineke was that guy, you don't trade for Carson Wentz in the first place.
I was a big believer. I was already saying Carson Wentz gave you the best chance to win. I still believe that. I still do believe that he does give you the best chance.
And you know who else believes that? Taylor Heineke, because he said at the start of the season, no, I'm the backup. You don't bring a guy like Carson Wentz in and expect him to be the backup. I'm gonna do my part and all of this, woo. And hey, it is what it is. You're just upset that Carson Wentz missed basically a month or longer than the other season.
This is the Browns defense that can play up to this type of potential, right? Turn the quarterback over 3 times.
Yeah, this season's basically a wash. I think
when we talk about the offseason, we'll be talking about that, right? Like Deshaun Watson starting from week 1, and this Browns team could be very dangerous in the NFC. This defense is still talented.
They have to find a way to re-sign. They signed a bunch of players on 1-year contracts. That they're not going to be able to re-sign once Deshaun Watson's mega extension kicks in. This is the season they needed.
You still got the Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
Situation.
He might be a free agent. So
okay, never mind. I didn't
we'll
I
talk
didn't know
about
his
Cleveland
status.
Browns in the offseason
We'll talk about
when we get into the offseason stuff. Let's move on from that game. Let's talk about the first game in the late afternoon window. Jacksonville Jaguars put the thumping on the Houston Texans as everybody expected, 31-3. Trevor Lawrence didn't even have to play well in this game, and they beat them by 28 points. Trevor Lawrence,
defense, man.
one pick. CJ Beathard came in and threw another interception. Travis Etienne, Jermichael Hasty, and Snoop Connor all had rushing touchdowns in this game, as Travis Etienne went over 100 yards in this game as well. Marvin Jones, leading receiver for the Jaguars. Izzy's boy Davis Mills struggled in this game, 22 of 42 of 2. Jeff Driscoll came in, and for some reason they keep putting Jeff Driscoll in on random times during Houston Texans games. Davis Mills was also the leading rusher for the Houston Texans, and Brandon Cooks 4 catches for 39.
I can't believe they had a 9-game losing streak against Houston. The Jacksonville Jaguars.
Damn.
Was that in Houston or was that just overall? That was in Houston?
That might be overall, bro. Like
that's crazy, man. But I agree because I mean Deshaun Watson was on there for so long, right?
And Saxonville only lasted the one season.
One season.
So hey, that legit might be, overall, like home away, it didn't matter. He was losing to the Texans. What was it?
Man, Jacksonville's defense is really good. It has been really good, these last couple weeks, man.
Yeah, it's the first victory. It's the first victory over the Texans since 2017.
Yeah,
so it's not just
overall.
at home. It's just overall.
Not just at home. It's overall. That's
crazy.
That's
crazy. That is crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
That is terrible. That is god awful. If you're Jacksonville, it's first off, it's nice to finally get back into the meaningful football conversation, right? You're in a win and in scenario, which you're probably going to be you're probably favored to win that game against the Titans.
There's no problem about it. They are for sure going to be the favorite.
They are favored, yeah.
So, I just kind of want the Trevor Lawrence hype to slow down just a tad. Like, he's having a nice season, he really is. But all this he overcomes adversity nonsense needs to stop, because we're not that far removed from him going a whole month without throwing a touchdown pass.
Well, I think that the adversity that they talk about is the fact that the Urban Meyer era was not.
Well, that's and that's what I'm saying. Like, so like, stop saying he overcomes that, because he played terrible during that. Like, he was terrible. The team was terrible. The changing factor was Doug Peterson being hired. Right? Like,
that is the changing factor. That's the changing factor. You're right. They was all terrible, but I mean, you gotta look at
overcoming the adversity would have been him and that team still playing good football, even
100%.
with Urban Meyer.
I don't know. I don't know Trevor Lawrence's life, but I don't imagine he's dealt with all that much adversity in his life.
No, like all he knows is one. He won in high school. He goes to Clemson. He wins there, and yeah. But
like he was basically anointed to be a first round quarterback when he was like in middle school. Like,
he's a middle school.
His life was pretty.
I would say middle. I would say like junior year of high school. Yeah,
junior year of high school. Yeah, 100%.
100%.
Yeah, they was number one pick.
Carpentersville, Georgia. He got Carpentersville, Georgia. Like they were like national, like top 25 teams, man. I would say, like, as to TJ's point, man, the adversity factor, yeah, you're right. Yeah, like if he was playing right, but I would think when I look at this, the difference between Jacksonville this year and this last year is the coach. I mean, Urban Meyer, you a college football coach. You weren't a pro coach. You move over to Doug Peterson. He knows how to utilize his talent. And he knows how to get the best out of his talent. Yeah. So he's the Super Bowl winning head coach as well. So
and if you're Houston, right, you're in the same situation as the Bears, right? Like, people are going to be coming for that number one spot, mostly because you're not a number one overall pick spot away from fixing your team. Just like the Bears, like, you have holes all over the place too. So you're going to have to entertain that scenario of, hey, yo, do we trade back and get a surplus of picks for this number one overall pick, and so on, or do we get a Bryce Young and go and start over with him, or do we get a
Well,
Will
they have the
Anderson
benefit
or
of having 2 first-round picks in this draft, so and they're both going to be in the top 10. We'll get to Houston's offseason when we get to it. Let's move on from this game. Let's talk about this. Yeah, this was the 49ers going into the Death Star and pulling out the victory 37-34 in overtime against the Las Vegas Raiders. Brock Purdy, probably his worst game as a starting quarterback in the NFL so far. Still pretty good. 22 of 35, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Chris McCaffrey, 19 of 121, 1 touchdown. Jordan Mason also had a rushing touchdown in this game. And Brandon Ayuk, who's had a really nice season, as he's kind of bounced back from that kind of bust talk that he had when his first couple years in the NFL. Last 2 seasons for Brandon Ayuk have been money. 9 of 101 and a touchdown. Jarrett Stidham, I think this is his first career start. Made it count. 23 of 34, 3 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Devontae Adams and Darren Waller sighting both had touchdowns in this game. And then Josh Jacobs had 1 on the ground as he put in 69 yards in the running game.
Yeah, it's a Raider fan in Christian's group that said, "See, I knew this team was just a quarterback away. Like, yeah, he's doing that stuff too. Like, yep, let's see Jarrett Stidham next week. Let's see how he plays."
He threw 2 interceptions this game. Let's pump the brakes a little bit here.
Jarrett Stidham ain't that guy. Come on, guys. Come on.
Thank you.
Come on.
Like, let's see how he plays next week, and then let's see if you.
That's why I left that group, TJ, because I can't stand dudes like that in there.
Bro, I'm so close.
I mean, nobody has tape on Jarrett Stidham. You throw him out against a random game, and he just happens to get lucky. Where 365 yards passing in the game. I mean, this is what TJ talks about all the time. Nobody's got tape on Jarrett Stidham. Like, he doesn't play ever in New England. I don't know what he's been doing for the last 2 years.
Backing up somebody else, bro. Like, that's what he is, right? So, like, I just hated the reasoning as to why Josh McDaniels made the move. Like, oh, we need to see the younger guys. Like, Jarrett Stidham ain't no young guy.
He's 26. He's only like 2 years younger than Derek Carr.
Hey, but that was a hell of a catch by Devontae Adams, though.
Oh,
that was like one of the catches of the year. That was amazing, to put them down the red zone, to put them in a position to win the game. Man, Raider season's been a dumpster fire. Josh McDaniels is, another dumpster fire season as a head coach, given another opportunity.
And I think what makes his worse is he waited 10 years in between opportunities, right? Like, it was like, bro, like you under the tutelage of arguably the best head coach ever, you didn't make any improvements to your coaching style. What did you learn? It's one of those situations where it's like, dude, what did you learn?
And I think on the other side, like, San Francisco is big time. Like, they're in the mix now for the number 1 seed in the NFC.
With Minnesota
have the number 1 seeds. Like, if they win and Philadelphia loses next week, this San Francisco team is really good.
Nobody wants to go into San Francisco. Nobody wants
to play San Francisco right now.
Because I would play San Francisco at my house, but I wouldn't want to play San Francisco.
No. I wouldn't want
in their house.
I wouldn't want to play. I wouldn't want to play San Francisco anywhere.
At all. Like, bro, like, again, there's like everybody's everybody's worst nightmare is what happened. Everybody's like, well, depending on how you look at it, no one wanted San Francisco to be a wild card team. No one wanted that. Can you imagine being like one of those division winners and your reward is to play the San Francisco 49ers on wild card weekend? Can you imagine that? It's like, damn.
Now they're in the hunt for the number 1 seed.
The only downside to this team, and I know that he's played well, since he became the starting quarterback, but Brock Purdy, it's a different animal in the playoffs. Teams are really dialing up, really.
And David pointed out he just had his worst game since being named starter, and it doesn't get any easier from here because everybody is.
But I think the good part about
the game he had, it wasn't even all that bad, but it was still. I mean, 284, 2 touchdowns and interception. But I mean, in the playoffs, I mean, that's a lot of pressure. You're gonna have to make throws, third down throws, big key downs. I mean, we gonna see. He's gonna have to grow up right in front of our eyes. I like what I see so far, but in the playoffs, that's the only downside for the San Francisco 49ers.
Totally agree with you on that. Moving on from this game, let's talk about another team that got eliminated, another team that kept their playoff lives alive. The New York Jets get beat by their former starting quarterback, the team that drafted Geno Smith, and they lose 23-6. Mike White was not good at all in this game. I'll just call it what it is. 23 of 46, 2 interceptions. Ty Johnson was the leading rusher. Tyler Conklin, leading receiver. Geno Smith, a nice bounce back game. 18 of 29, 183 yards and 2 touchdowns. Kenneth Walker, 133 yards rushing. DJ Dallas, leading receiver for the Seattle Seahawks. And Colby Parkinson, the also former Jet, I think, got in the end zone. And Tyler Mabry. I'm not even sure who these guys are. Like Colby Parkinson, Tyler Mabry.
Coming out of nowhere, man. Guys coming out of nowhere for them, man.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing that made when he was there. That's the thing that people loved about Russell Wilson, because he made no-name guys look like they were actually good. Like, hey, remember the tight end Will Dissly? Remember him?
He's still good. He's just hurt.
He's man. He's talented too, man.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like before Russ, he won nothing. Like he came into the league as a blocking tight end. Russ made him a pass catcher. Like seriously. Okay. No, seriously. Like that's real deal Holyfield. Like he was a blocking tight end. He go to Seattle. They like, all right, well, we're gonna need you to catch passes because ain't nobody else catch pass. Like ain't nobody else from the tight end spot.
Who's the other guy that killed my Packers on the long bomb there? Jermaine Curse. Oh yeah, Curse. Yeah, Curse.
Yeah.
Yeah, from when the Super Bowl run.
I used to really like Jermaine Curse.
No, whatever.
Back to this game. Like this is what this had to feel so good for Geno Smith. It had to feel great. Not only do you beat your former team, you knock them out of playoff contention. That had to be great. Oh my God. That had to feel fantastic. It had to.
And I think on the other side,
I mean, you
got a bunch of decisions to make. I mean, what's going to be the quarterback situation going into next season?
Real talk. And the one thing I like that Geno Smith did, Izzy, before you get in, the first thing he did after that game was walk over to Zach Wilson, and he told him to keep his head up and keep working.
Yeah, I mean, look, we all know. I mean, Geno knows, because he's the NFL quarterback.
If anybody knows, Geno knows. Like, because not only did it happen to him, it happened to him for the same team in the same city. They already want Zach Wilson gone, bro. They already want him out of there.
The New York media is rough, man. I mean, they're going to kill you every day if you're not strong enough and if you're not playing well at all. So the same thing Daniel Jones has to deal with. Zach Wilson on the other side is getting killed right now. And it's been getting killed, for a few months now.
David Henderson is asking questions in the quotes in the comments. He's like, Izzy, are you still the Jets GM and are you firing Robert Saleh? I'm not firing Robert Saleh.
That's a running joke. No, we're not firing Robert Saleh at all because the defense has improved tremendously. I just think they need to get more consistency at quarterback.
They've improved their win total by how much? They've improved their win total.
If they get a guy like
4 games,
playoff team. If they get a guy like Derek Carr, they're a playoff team. They just need more consistency at quarterback. That's it.
David, look up their record from last year because they won what 7 games this year.
Yeah. Give me a second.
That's it.
They improved.
I'll look that up. But moving on from this game, let's talk about the game that I'm sure Izzy's been dying to talk about all day. Minnesota Vikings go into Lambeau and get beat down 41-17 because either Minnesota's getting beat down or they're winning games. Like they're just pulling games out of their thin air. Kirk Cousins struggled in this game. 18-31, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. Alexander Mattison that never really could get the running game going in this game. 9 carries for Delvin Cook. Jalen Naylor, leading receiver for the Minnesota Vikings. KJ Osborne also had a touchdown in this game. Justin Jefferson struggled in this game. He basically had a mini blowout during this game where he almost hit a ref with his helmet.
Oh, my God. Did you see that? You saw that. Oh, my God.
Yeah, I was only with it.
Aaron Rodgers, 15 of 24, 159, one touchdown.
He felt like he got pushed after the play was over, which is why
you still can't take your helmet off.
14. He was on the sideline though, baby.
He was still for sure on the field.
Trying to hit his helmet.
And AJ Dillon had a rushing touchdown. Aaron Rodgers had a rushing touchdown.
Whatever.
Robert Tonyan had a receiving touchdown. His Packers went on to win this game big. I think the real big turning point in this game for me.
Hold
on. I think the really big turning point in this game for me was when the Minnesota Vikings blocked that punt and they didn't get it in the end zone, and then they immediately gave up that kick return for a touchdown. I felt like at that moment I'm like, this game's over.
Check it out. Check it out. No. That's not what I was referring to. That's not what I was referring to.
That's what I was talking about. I think that's that.
No. Let me finish.
All right, go ahead.
No, his name isn't Robert Tonyan. It's come on, David, give it to me. Come on, the Packers won.
I'm not giving it to you.
My Packers won. You got to give it to me. Come on.
No, I'm not giving it to you. Go away.
It's Big Bob Tonyan, baby. Let's go. Anyways,
I just want to say, hey, David, I just want to say one thing. That's the first time he called him Big Bob Tonyan all season. That's
true.
I just want to point that out.
No. I called him Big Bob Tonyan on the fantasy show a lot of times.
You haven't even had him in your rankings like the last 3 months. When was the last time? When was the last time Robert Tonyan was in your rankings?
Week 4.
Also, yeah, I am in agreement with David. When the Vikings blocked that punt and they couldn't punch it in, I'm like, if that was a recipe for disaster, like you were right there, and like
they had it at the 1 yard line.
You had it at the one, and to make matters worse, you didn't even try to go for it on 4th down. You just automatically said, all right, field goal team. You just settled for 3 right there.
And then you had a series of missed field goals in the first half, and
you missed. Yeah, I forgot how far it was, but you just shanked that one.
Kirk wasn't playing well.
We talked about it. We talked about it yesterday because I went to a paint and sip for my mom's birthday. Her birthday was December 28th, so we just
happy birthday, Mom!
Right?
What?
So like we just celebrated her birthday like today. I mean, not today, the other day. So I'm like, the game got out of hand. I turned it off and I was watching I was watching another game, but everybody wants to get into like, you know what Jair Alexander said, and we might as well just go into it. I don't mind we hear like nobody doesn't mind trash talk, right? It's different when you trash talk and you one-on-one with him. Hey, it's me. Like, Izzy, like it's me, you, nobody else. It's me versus you, and you lock me up, I lock you up. Yeah, woo. You talk real big with your chest out when it was you and the safety over the top of you. That's the issue I have. Like, you can't talk trash and you basically double team this man the whole game. If it was you one-on-one, talk your trash, hit your gritty on them, all that good stuff. But if it's you and a single over the top and it's almost like Big Brother coming to save you. It gave Big Brother vibes. Big Brother vibes. Like he's
technically still on the field when he takes his
He's still that. I gotta argue against you on that because it'll be different if Jair Alexander was like on some Richard Sherman type of stuff, where it's like, oh, I only got one side of the field, okay, and I'm not. He was literally going along with Justin Jefferson the entire game. But I mean, he did a great job at stopping Justin Jefferson.
Once again,
media routes and everything like that.
So he traveled with Justin Jefferson. Was a safety not still over the top, no matter where he traveled?
Yes. But David,
yes.
That's how everybody's been guarding him, bro. That's how everybody's been guarding him. Single high safety in the back. Everybody's been guarding him like that.
But why run?
Zaire Alexander had a good game here. Like
he had a good game, bro.
He should be allowed to talk a little shit.
Why run your mouth like you single-handedly shut him down when that's not the case? You didn't do it. And
I feel like we're just nitpicking here. Like this is
no, it's not. Izzy, to your
even
Izzy, hold on. To your adjustment claim, like, all right, so like the first game of the season versus now, the issue I have with that is like you knew who you were playing first game of the season. Why not? Why would you not come out in the first game of the season single high look Jair? Because like Jair already
They got
said
cooked
that.
the first game. They
Jair,
got cooked. He got cooked the first game. That's why he took it personal in this game.
no,
Yeah.
but like
He
what I'm
took it
saying,
personal.
no. But so what I'm getting is like you knew who you were playing. You knew who you were playing. Like for you to come out and say like we didn't have a plan, like that's terrible. Like you waited till week 17 to make adjustments. Like you knew who you were playing.
And what
You
David
knew who you
Henderson
were playing.
is saying, and what David Henderson just commented is correct because Justin Jefferson made it seem like he was on Jair all game and he was cooking Rasul Douglas too. Anyways, I will say this: the kickoff
Well,
return.
Rasul Douglas ain't the one out there calling it a fluke and whatnot and everything. I'm just
No,
putting that out there.
I hear you. I would say the kickoff return touchdown
Yeah, that
from
was
Nixon.
huge.
I think that was huge. I think that touchdown right there set the tone for the Packers going forward. After that, and I want to say something.
And then the immediate next drive. I mean, Kirk Cousins throws that pick six, and like you guys got 14 points, right? Bam! Like that was
Right
the end of the
there.
game. The game was over at that point.
And that was it. And that was right after the field goal that David amended
Correct.
to, where the block punt and you were on the 1 yard
Yeah.
line. You could have capitalized and scored. You got the field goal. You kicked it off, and we returned it back for a touchdown. That was all she wrote. I want to say this about the Packers, though. The running game's getting going. They have how many takeaways do they have? I know they said 12, but now it's probably up to like 14 or 15 in the last 3 or 4 games. So the defense is playing much better.
Again, this has been my gripe with the Packers all season. This is how you should have been playing the entire season, the entire time. This is what's been so frustrating. Like you waited. It's basically you waited till the clock damn near hit midnight to be like, oh, wait, this is how we should be playing. This is how we get back into like. You can't afford to do that.
We had injuries. We had injuries. We had a lot.
Don't make excuses.
No, I'm not making excuses. You're right. We should have been playing like that. The Packers should have been playing like that from the jump, right? Because I even alluded to it. Oh my God, no fly zone. Oh, they were getting torched the first half of the season. Oh my God, they got pass rush for Preston Smith and Rashawn Gary. Well, they're 26th in the league in sacks this season. But it's not about always how you start. It's about how you finish, right? And the 4-0 in the last 4 games. In the last 4 games, they have 15 takeaways, and they have a lot of sacks.
And it's funny that you say it because you know what they're going to point out if they lose that game to Detroit. They're not gonna care about them winning the last handful of games. They're gonna be like they got up to a slow start. They tried to play catch up, and they ran out of time. And then
the offensive line has been inconsistent as well. I mean, kind of easing Bakhtiari back into that lineup. He's been playing well of late. The running game's kind of getting going a little bit more now lately. And Rodgers also with the
running game should have been the leading catalyst the entire season.
Nobody's disagreeing with you on that.
We will talk more about the Packers tomorrow as they're in a win and in scenario next week. Let's move on for the final game in the late afternoon window. We got the Los Angeles Rams going into also Los Angeles and getting beat down by the Chargers 31-10 as Mike Williams just put on a clinic of how to catch the football during this game. If you've not seen the one-handed grab that he had when he was spinning, nasty, so nice. But yeah, Baker Mayfield came back down to earth a little bit here. 11 of 19, 132 yards. Cam Akers, 19 carries for 123 yards as he's really bounced back here towards the end of the season. Probably will be the starting running back for this team next year. Malcolm Brown had the lone rushing touchdown. Van Jefferson, leading receiver for the Rams.
Hey,
the Chargers
go ahead.
Chargers, Justin Herbert, 21 of 28, 212, 2 touchdowns. Austin Eckler, another amazing game for him. 10 carries for 122 yards and 2 touchdowns. Mike Williams, leading receiver, and Gerald Everett and Donald Parham Jr. from the XFL had the receiving touchdowns for this team.
And I want to say this for young players, like probably in the NFL or even in college or high school. Cam Akers is a great example of how the hell you get out the doghouse. Okay, keep your head down, you work hard, you keep playing football, and he has been amazing the last 4 or 5 weeks, really, right, David? I mean, he's been great. I know it don't mean nothing. No, it don't mean nothing. But you know what? When they
I
come
think
back
it's,
next season, it
I
will.
think it's
Well,
important for
well,
next
actually,
season.
I
I mean, we're
Next
talking
season,
about
yes.
Cam Akers,
should,
who's in
right,
the
I should
doghouse
rephrase
and
that. It
couldn't
doesn't.
play.
It does. Too bad it don't mean nothing towards like their season. For him,
Yeah,
it's
Yeah.
everything. For
yeah.
him,
Yeah,
it's
for him,
everything.
it's everything. Yes, that's what I'm saying. For him, it's everything. He got out the doghouse playing good, just playing good. And this goes for everybody in sports, even basketball. You're in the doghouse, you're on the end of the bench. Keep working hard, keep playing. Whenever you got your opportunity to be called in a game,
Be
make
ready. Be ready.
plays. Make
Be
plays.
ready.
Be ready. Cam Akers, man. But yeah,
I,
the Chargers. I got nothing
I
to say about this game, man. The Chargers, man. I mean, David called it, man.
obviously,
The Chargers, man. They look better than Chicago. They were the second best team in the AFC South, AFC West.
obviously, if you're the Chargers, you're playing for a better playoff spot. You don't want to draw like you definitely don't want to draw the Chiefs as your first game. Like
Well,
you
they're
want, like
locked in.
you.
They're locked into the 6th seed, so the least they can go is 6. If the Ravens were to lose, I think they would jump the Ravens into the 5 seed. But they can't go lower than
Who would they play if they were the 5 seed?
Right?
The
Who would they
Chiefs?
play?
whoever wins the AFC South.
Oh well, I like the Chargers. I like the Chargers to win that wild card game. Anyways, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I would say? The only thing about the Chargers, they're playing great, good defense now. They're clicking on all cylinders here. I would love to see a little bit more out of like Gerald Everett. I mean, I know Mike Williams is great and Keenan Allen's great. I need that third guy in that passing. I mean, they don't have.
Normally it's Joshua Palmer, but I'm not sure he played in this game or what the situation was. So
I would love to see that security blanket for Justin Herbert when those two guys are kind of getting locked down a little bit. I would like to see Gerald Everett step up a little bit. But Austin Eckler played great down the stretch.
Austin Eckler was
Man, he's fantastic, bro.
Fantastic. He's been fantastic all season. Let's be real.
All season, bro. All season. So
if you're the Chargers, you just want that high. You just want that higher playoff. So now.
Did Derwin James did he get eliminated? Did he get tossed out this game or was it the last game? Derwin James was it the last game?
Last game.
That was the last game. He got tossed out. Okay.
David, the scenario you need to happen. I think what needs to happen is I think Cincinnati needs to lose tonight, and then that would make That would make Bengals Ravens next week for the division. And if the Ravens were to lose that game, that's when the Chargers would jump.
No, if the Ravens lose next week, the Chargers win, they're the 5 seed. There's no other scenario. The Cincinnati's not involved.
Well, I'm saying like Baltimore's in like. Well, I was getting at that. If Baltimore, if Cincy loses tonight, that makes next week Bengals Ravens for the division.
No, it's for the division no matter what. I'm pretty sure.
35-14.
Cam Rising got knocked out. of the game. No, I'm serious. I saw
I see.
The hit he took that knocked him out of the game. It was pretty bad.
I'm wrong. Actually, if the Bengals do win today, they lock up the division.
Right.
But either way, if the Ravens lose, the Chargers end up with the 5 seed. Speaking of the Ravens, let's talk about the Steelers and the Ravens in Sunday Night Football. It's the Pittsburgh Steelers pull out the victory, and they can still have a chance to have a winning season under Mike Tomlin as he refuses to.
And they can make the playoffs.
Yeah, they could make the playoffs. There's a lot of things have to play out their way. Basically, everybody has to lose but them. But yeah, Pittsburgh 16-13 over the Baltimore Ravens. Also, the Ravens really miss Lamar Jackson. He's the engine that makes this offense go. They look stagnant as hell without him. Kenny Pickett, kind of an up and down game, but that game-winning drive, he threw 2 dimes in a row. Really showed the mental fortitude of this young football player. 15-27, 168 yards and a touchdown. Najee Harris, 22 carries for 111 yards. Pat Freiermuth, 3 catches for 36 yards. Najee Harris also caught the game-winning touchdown in this game. Tyler Huntley, it was okay here.
He threw a bad pick, man.
He did throw a bad pick at
the end of this game, man.
14-21, 130 yards, a touchdown and interception. J.K. Dobbins, 17 carries for 93 yards. Mark Andrews, 9 catches for 101 yards. And Isaiah Likely, who's had a solid rookie season at the tight end position for the Ravens, caught the lone receiving touchdown for this team.
Well, it's 2 things that it's both quarterbacks have the same play style. One, going back to Philly, New Orleans, Gardner Minshew just proved why Jalen Hurts is the MVP. And Tyler Huntley just proved why the Ravens need to pay Lamar Jackson.
Well, they mentioned TJ. You know what they mentioned yesterday? They mentioned Chris Collinsworth made a good he made a good comment yesterday. He said, "Man, if Lamar ended up going somewhere else, like how long would it take for this Ravens team to kind of translate to regroup and get a difference? Because they literally have built this team around Lamar Jackson, and he ends up going somewhere else.
They would basically have to start from scratch.
They basically have to start from scratch, man, and push the reset button a little bit here because they've done nothing but draft tight ends and running backs and power offensive linemen and you know everything that like kind of predicates around Lamar Jackson. They really miss him, man. And you know what? I'll say this about the Steelers. I mentioned to a Steelers fan, man, this passing game is garbage. And he said, "Oh no, it's not garbage. Kenny Pickett's at least completing 55% of his passes." Like, dude, it's garbage.
That's not a flex.
That's not good, bro. That's not good. I'm telling you, bro. I'm like, bro, they completed 9 passes before those last 2 drives. Like
and Buddy and for Buddy be like that 55%, bro. NFL average is 60.
It's 60. And I said I like to see my quarterbacks between 64 and 68%. And you know, and I said this, look, man. I said, and my thing is with the Pittsburgh Steelers is this defense kept them in the game. But I wonder if Lamar Jackson played this game, the Ravens would have won.
I agree.
Seriously, like the saving grace for the Ravens is that they're still 10-6. They're 10-6, right? They're still they're still 10-6,
and they still have a chance to win the division, which is crazy.
Right? They are still in this thing. So that's Harbaugh's saving grace right now. But for all the folks that don't feel like Lamar Jackson is worth whatever he's asking for, because till this day we don't know. I said it at the start, like it's not. And I love how they just keep forgetting about Roquan Smith. Like if you feel like he's the linebacker of the future, you gotta pay him too, right? Like I don't think Roquan go into next season playing on the tag.
Right? I don't think either of those guys are going to play on a tag.
I don't think any of those guys are going to play on the tag. So, and I pointed that out when they made the trade for Roquan. I'm like, that's the underlying issue. You now have 2 guys that you got to pay.
Not to mention Tyus Bowser's contract's coming up here. I mean, this roster's going to get expensive before.
I don't think the Steelers make the playoffs. I think they have too much. I mean, and they could get another winning season under Mike Tomlin. But this team has played well. As soon as TJ Watt came back, the team started playing.
I mean, the Duke missed half the season, but still made the Pro Bowl.
That pissed Eddie Jackson off to the umpteenth power because Eddie Jackson was completely removed from the ballot. He like, how the hell somebody miss a quarter of the season or more and stay on? Y'all took me off after I missed 2 games. But that's not here nor there. That his issue is not with TJ Watt. His issue is with the system. But nonetheless, it's not here nor there. Like if you're the Ravens, like you played good football for 59 minutes and 45 seconds, I guess. Maybe,
man, this is another like 1-score games. How many games have they lost? I mean, this team could have 13, 14 wins.
What was it, the Dolphins?
Yeah, the Dolphins game, the Jacksonville game. I mean, they've had a lead in every game they've lost.
Did they lose to Buffalo? They lost to Buffalo, right?
I don't remember. I don't remember if they played Buffalo or not.
They played Buffalo because it was remember it was raining real hard.
I think that was last season, man.
No, that was this season.
Yeah, but man, you know, honestly, what I think, like I said, man, the Steelers passing game.
Yeah. They lost to the Bills 23-20.
Yeah, that was
and then you know, here's another thing. Here's another thing, guys. And we closing on this. Steelers fans, you know, a lot of these guys are saying, "Oh well, if we would have just started Kenny Pickett out the gate, we would have made the play. We would have been easily made the playoffs." No, I'm like, no, you wouldn't have. No, you wouldn't have, man. So, like, dude, come on, bro.
I got to pull it up. So you lost to the Steelers 1 score. You lost to the Jags, 1 score. You lost to the
Every game they've lost has been 1 score.
You lost to the Giants at 1 score. Yep. Buffalo. Dolphins. Yeah, all your 6 losses were 1 score games. Like outside of
And
Cleveland.
it's not like Kenny Pickett. It's not like Kenny Pickett is like. I mean, yeah, the last 2 games, yes, he played well enough for them to win. But it's not like in those games he would have made the difference. You know, I mean, he's got 6 touchdowns to 9 interceptions, and I think he's only completing like a little over 60%.
That touchdown he threw last night was
a dime. Was incredible.
Yeah.
Yes. It was incredible. But I mean, yeah, man. I mean, Steelers fans, you gotta pump the brakes on Kenny Pickett a little bit. I don't know what he is. He has similar numbers to Mitch Trubisky as when he was a rookie in the Bears. So you guys saying that Mitch and Kenny Pickett are? I'm like, dude, he got similar numbers to Mitch when he was a rookie. So he's got to get better and get the reps. I don't think he's that guy. And I said this. I said if Kenny Pickett struggles next season, I say you tank and you go get a franchise because you don't want to waste his defense. You don't want to waste T.J. Watt and you don't want to waste the rest of Cam Hayward's career, who's having a Hall of Fame career.
I mean, he's had a Hall of Fame career
easily. So,
but yeah, that's been our week number 16 results recap so far. As Monday Night Football gets ready to kick off at 8:30, I'm ready to watch this game. It should be hopefully it's the
best Monday Night Football game.
Yeah, for sure. Because the primetime games of late have been not good. So let's just put it that way. But yeah, thank you very much for joining us all. This has been our week 17 so far recap. I've been David Huppin right there as the CEO of Prize for World, Mr. Israel Rivera. And then my co-host, Mr. TJ Hopkins. Thank you very much for joining us. Tomorrow, we're going to break down week number 18. We're also going to break down Monday Night Football as whoever wins this game is going to probably be the number 1 seed in the AFC between Bengals, Chiefs, and Bills. So we're also going to give out our game balls. Izzy, it looks like TJ dropped from the show, but Izzy, what we do here at the Prime, my friend?
You know, everybody, we bring the heat, ladies and gentlemen. Bring the heat.
And please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast as we bring you daily content. We'll be back here tomorrow and every day this week. So keep an eye out for that. I'm David Huppin right there as the CEO, Mr. Israel Rivera. You all have a great night and stay safe out there.
Peace out.
Peace out, brother.